Hi YouTube, how are you doing? Welcome to something new that I don't usually do, but I wanted to show you because there are some awesome things coming for Phasmophobia. This is from the Trello board. You can check out the Trello board with the link in the description. It is where DK updates the roadmap for the game, what is going to come to Phasmophobia, and I think that the roadmap for this time actually includes some awesome changes that people have been waiting for a long time, namely difficulty increase. The game right now is pretty easy once you know what you're doing, and in an immersion breaking way, in my opinion. There's two things that you can do. Well, one major thing, which is looping. You can loop a ghost around an object, just a physical object, and the ghost will never catch you. This only doesn't apply to revenants because they are too fast and they can just catch you anyway. But everyone knows that, so once you get that fingerprints writing and EMF, you know you have to hide. But besides that, every single ghost just kind of gets outran, which is weird. You feel like a ghost should be dangerous, it should be able to catch you. So, I have here set up the major change, or all the changes that are coming to the next beta update. And I've also added some notes to them, so you can check this out here. And I'll go over all of them right now. Namely the major changes, which are the gameplay changing factors on this patch, which are three of those, in my opinion. The first one being the biggest one, which is make all ghosts slightly faster over time if they are chasing the player, except Revenant and Jinn. I don't understand the Jinn, because Revenant, sure, Revenant can catch you always, but Jinn, if you don't make a Jinn faster, it's never going to be able to catch you, so I don't quite understand that part. But I'm assuming Jinns will also be able to outspeed you eventually, but that's a slightly strange wording, because a Jinn cannot catch you as it stands right now. So yeah, you have basically something that removes looping from the game. Whereas before, you could just go to a couch or to a car in Tanglewood or wherever where you could loop around. You could just loop the ghost forever. It would never be able to catch you. You would have to be okay at looping because they could double back on you if you went too fast and then the ghost starts to go the other way, then you can die anyway. But any professional player would be fine just staying alive no matter what. Basically, they've removed that now. You can no longer do this. At the start of the hunt, you have to go for a hiding spot, because if you wait too long, then the ghost will be ramping up speed and eventually be able to catch you, which I think this is the best way to do this. You could just make all ghosts faster, period. I think that would be a bad idea because it would lead to a lot of situations where the hunt starts, you can't get to a safe spot fast enough, and you just die in a really unfair situation. And I think this is the best middle ground, where you have a situation where the ghost just speeds up over time. So you can't just like laugh at the ghost, loop around like an object, but rather you have to hide. Like hiding is now your objective, which I think is a good way to play this game. And because hiding is also slightly OP, they have added another change, which is the one I want to look at next, which is over here. Also a major change, which is that the ghosts will now fully open lockers and closets if the ghost knows someone is in there, which I think is something that was definitely necessary, because I felt bad for doing this. I did it, I mean, I'm talking to chat sometimes during a stream, and then the ghost would just find me, because in single player, the ghost will always hear you, and it'll walk into the closet, but it can't actually kill you. So it'll just be walking, like, it will clip through the closet trying to get to you, but it just can't, and it feels really immersion breaking and kind of dumb. And I mean, as much as it is fun to talk to chat during hunts, I wish this would not be the case, and they're going to address that right here, because now, if you are talking and the ghost knows your location, it will check that location, or it will fully open the locker and the closet, which I think, I mean, it's not going to change anything, because you can just be quiet, especially in multiplayer. Just don't push to talk or whisper. If you can also whisper, because the ghost is like at a certain volume threshold is when the ghost starts hearing you. I think this is great. This is like something that was kind of dumb, and it is just way more immersion, way more immersive if the ghost can actually find you if it knows where you are. Like, ghosts should feel threatening and not just like, oh, I'm in a locker now, let's hold the door and I'm fine. Like, it actually has to mean something. So I like this. I like this a lot. These two are great. I mean, as much as looping is a big part of the game right now, I think it is something that was always going to be changed eventually, because it's just too cheesy, in my opinion. And I think most people agree. So yeah, let's go to the last major change, which is something that is kind of required, and we also, as content creators, when DK asked us about these changes, we said this like I mean, this is fine and all, making this a thing, but how about Grafton and maybe even Bleastill? Bleastill is not on here because in Grafton, for example, you have not a single hiding spot. So if you get if you get hunted on Grafton with these changes, you would kind of be screwed because you can. I mean, I guess you can hide in a room, but you're never safe in a room. So there's no like safety sure safety spots on Grafton, which kind of would make Grafton a very unfortunate map with these new changes. So I'm glad that they're doing this, which is add lockers and more hiding places to Grafton. I kind of wish they would include Bleastill in this because Bleastill only has 2 lockers in the very, very bottom of the map in the area considered the garage. Without a car. That area has the only 2 safe spots in that place, which if you're gonna make the ghost faster, you can't escape easily. And also, if you get it like a chain hunting attic demon, you're gonna have to keep running down to the base, to the very bottom of the map, hide in those lockers, get back up. By the time you're back to the attic, you're gonna get hunted again. So I feel like there should be at least 1 hiding spot on each floor of the Bleastill map, but that's my opinion. I think that would be better if you're going to incentivize hiding over looping. Besides that, there are some minor changes which I will also quickly go over because I think there's some interesting changes in these. For example, this one. Don't make the ghost move at the start of a hunt to stop confusion. This is actually kind of a big deal. It seems very small, but there's most situations where I die personally as like a player with over 600 hours in the game is where the hunt starts, I'm in the ghost room, I start running away, and then all of a sudden, the ghost will decide to run the exact same path that I'm taking, which means that I either have to hide in the ghost room or I have to take it like a suboptimal path that doesn't lead to a loop or something. Like you have to, you can't just run on top of the ghost because after 8 seconds it will just kill you. Which, if you're going to make the ghost stationary at like the start of a hunt, this will never happen anymore. The ghost will just be standing still, and you will also always have those 8 seconds to escape, which, strangely enough, in an update mostly focused on increasing the difficulty, will actually decrease the difficulty a fair amount for professional play, because most of the deaths caused in like high-level lobbies are because ghosts just insta-kill someone who it was on top of, like especially the tiny ghost, the like small female kid ghost. That can crawl on under your feet and you'll not even notice. I've died recently to that, where the ghost was just on top of me the entire time. So yeah, this is kind of a big deal. I'm interested to see how this change will affect like high level play. I'm interested to see all these changes. Let me know what you think as well. Another one that is interesting but minor is that it will now remember the last location of the player after the previous hunt ends. It will remember where you were, and then it will check that area at the start of the next hunt. I think that's what this means. Make the ghost remember the last known player location and check that area at the start of the next hunt. Unless it just means any player location. At the start of the next hunt makes me think it's talking about if a hunt ends, it will remember where you were during that hunt, and it will check that next hunt. I don't know how this is gonna really do anything, personally. Unless it means that you can't hide in the same locker twice. Like, I really have to see what this means, like how severe this remembering of location is. But I feel like this is not really going to mean anything and might lead to cases where the ghost just feels kind of stupid because it starts checking a location where you're no longer even close to anymore because it was only the place you hid in the last hunt. I don't know how this is going to change much, but it could be interesting. Then we have another change, which is actually kind of nice, which is add player volume options to the server screen. Man, so many times I've joined a public lobby or I've done viewer games and there's just one person with this freaking 1995 mic that just blasts your earballs, and it's like super painful. So I'm glad you can now just... I wish it would be just have the player volume options in the lobby. I feel like that is fair, but I guess you can now just turn everyone down slightly so you no longer have that ear blasting, because I usually turn everyone down to 50% in the game anyway, so I could just do a global tuning rather than individual tuning. I think that would be very nice. And then we have two things which are kind of minor. This one is extremely minor. Optimize equipment spawning to prevent disconnect. Sure, nice. And then this one, add an objective, get the ghost to hear your voice during a hunt, which with this change is actually kind of cool. It's actually pretty cool, because now you can no longer start yelling in a locker because it will just kill you. So you have to like kind of be smart about this. I don't really see, like, most objectives are kind of arbitrary objectives that you just do to get the money from the arbitrary objective, but I think this is a pretty cool objective. It's gonna kill a lot of people though. If you start doing this in lockers and this change also goes through, like, it's gonna be scary. But I like this. Overall, I think these changes are great. Let me know what you think. I think especially the preventing of looping was very, very much required. I think adding a locker to Grafton, I mean, as cool as it is to have a map, like, I've been using Grafton mostly for my like looping challenges because it is a map where you simply have to loop, and there's also a lot of cool ways to loop. But I guess since looping is going to go anyway, which is kind of sad, but we've had like half a year of looping fun, so I think we can move on with the better game, which is going to result from removing looping from the game. Well, like, only I think it's going to be like the first 25 seconds you're kind of fine, and then the last 25 seconds of the hunt, the ghost is going to be too fast for you to outrun it. I think that would be the perfect balance here. So you can still get away, but you can't just like laugh at the ghost while you're looping around an object. I think that's a good change. And then this was also like very much required because closets and lockers were really, really immersion breaking because you could just stand in them, yell at the ghost, and it couldn't do anything to you. So yeah, I think these are all great. I'm really curious to see how they will affect gameplay and what the general consensus will be about these changes. Let me know what you think. Do you think I already die way too much in this game? It is already very hard. I think for like newer players, this might be scary. I think that the plan DK has is not to make these changes professional exclusive, from what he said in the content creator section of the Phasmophobia Discord. He wants to make the ghost behavior the same across all the difficulty levels, because otherwise it would be way too much of a like jarring change every time you change difficulty. Not that people will be playing on anything but professional once you reach a certain level anyway, but there won't be any escaping from this. Basically, you will have to deal with this, which I think is great. I hope it's going to be that way, because it's gonna, I don't know, on amateur dying you get a lot of your money back anyway. This game is not, you won't be dying like 50% of the time. You will be dying like very, very few times. And I think having deaths be a part of gameplay where it actually sometimes happens, rather than it just being a super 1 in a billion mess up that you do, it's fun. I think it's a good change. So let me know what you think. Again, if you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if you want to join the lovely gamers that aren't here because this is in the middle of the day, then you can join us over at twitch.tv/insim every single day at 7 p.m. Central European Time. I hope to see you there. I hope to see you in the Discord, discord.gg/insim. I will be seeing you in the next video or next stream. I love you guys, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.